Well, hello, babes. Well, hello. Hello, how is everybody? Can you hear me? I'm being a weirdo immediately right out the gate. As per usual. How's it going, everybody? Let me see. How's this outfit looking? Okay? Doing all right? Let me see. Let's get some colors. Oh my god, that's blinding. Just the LEDs pointed directly into my eyeballs. Hello. How's everybody feeling today? How's everybody doing? Are we alive? Who is on the t-shirt? It's Mr. Atheist. It's like an old, very old Mr. Atheist t-shirt design. He sent it to me a while ago. I'm like 5% alive, good enough. Yo, if I'm being honest, I do not know how long this stream is gonna go because it is so fucking hot in my house right now. Like, it's crazy. So, frankly, I might not live very long with the photography lights on and everything. Like, oh boy, I'm doing what I can, but it's like 100 degrees outside, and that makes I just like the house that I live in is super fucking old, so it has central air, but it's not a very efficient central air system. So yeah, trying not to melt. Yeah, is it actually 100 degrees outside, or is it just them guns trying to trick me? Stay hydrated out there with all the heat, etc. Yeah, stream from the freezer. What's up, Jay, in the YouTube chat? Hello. Yeah. What's up, Baphomet? Hello. Twitchy Witch says, alive and back from the gym, embroidering pride gift for a friend. Very nice. That's super sweet. You know, I was thinking about, what if because I'm making stuff like this right now. What if I did, like, a raffle every once in a while during stream? You know, if it was like, hey, if you do a $5 dono in the stream, you know, I'll randomly choose someone, and then if you send me your address, I'll send you the thing, and do it raffle style. Could be fun, could be amusing, but I'm trying to, like, I've got all kinds of little stuff like that that I'm just having fun, keeping my hands busy. That's another thing. Like exercise and making tiny mushrooms. I think I'm just gonna redo the entire top of this one. I think that I just did not like how the top of this one turned out. So, I'm gonna redo it. But look, it's pink. It's hard to tell because of the blinding light, but it's pink. Oh my god. Yeah, it's tiny. Amigurumi is what it's called when you do teeny tiny crochet like this. It's super cute. But I want to make a pair of earrings out of those. That sounds fun, huh? Sell them for some amount of money. Could be good. You got the side hustle, and I got a side hustle, and then you got 2 more side hustles. You got a side hustle on top of your side hustle. Anyway, Jesus Christ. But yeah, good to hear that y'all are going to the gym and shit like that. I did my exercises today. Today, what is today? Today's Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, I do pull-ups and squats. And I do, like, only my body weight, and I do a lot of them. So I'm a little bit tired because I did that earlier. I did core day today. Ooh, yes. Thing is small. Japan, we must make a word for this. Well, it's also like, you know, specifically it's like using crochet to make small, like animals and stuff like that. You should try making the little dragon on your YouTube banner. You think, I guess I could try. It just would not look nearly so cute. I've thought about making a little Korok with a similar style as this, but like bigger probably. But just like a little potato Korok from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Could be cute. Pretty adorable. I wonder how much I could sell one of those for. Not very much if Nintendo had anything to say about it. I'm still getting over my allergy sickness, but anaerobic exercises are still doable. Hell yes. I really wanted this week to begin doing like a wake up really early and go do cardio kind of thing, but I just really don't think that the area that I live in is the place that I want to do cardio. And so then it's a question of like, okay, well, if I'm gonna drive somewhere, Like, for example, if I'm gonna go to a trail or something and do a hiking thing, is that going to be, like, should I do longer? Like, here's the dilemma. If I can just exercise by walking out of my house and exercising in my neighborhood, right, then the total amount of time is not going to be that much, and so it's fine for me to do it, like, almost every day, right? Like, 4 or 5 days a week, going for a 30-minute walk or, like, a shorter jog, for example, to get the total amount of cardio that you need over the total of the week. You know, that could work, right? But if I can't just leave my place and do that, then I have to factor in the amount of time it takes to get there, which means it would be more worth it to do fewer times each week. So then it becomes a question of, like, okay, I have to decide which days I'm gonna go to the trails and go for a exercise, and it's gonna be like more like an hour or more each time, as opposed to like 30-40 minutes here and there. So, and also if I'm gonna be going out on the trails, then there needs to be more sunblock, probably. Not that there wasn't already gonna be sunblock, but then there also has to be, if you're gonna go out in the woods, always make sure to spray yourself for ticks, because the ticks are fucking crazy this year. Like, everywhere on Reddit, I keep seeing people talk about it. The ticks are crazy this year. Protect yourself from Lyme disease. So then showering when I get home is another question of, like, oh my god, I don't want to really spend my entire day with bug spray on me, sitting here at my desk with bug spray on me. So this is what it's like to have ADHD, when it's not, like, straightforward. There's, like, a million different factors that I feel like have to weigh in. Also, laundry. I probably would not wear clean clothes every time. I would probably have, like, well, the thing is that if you go out to the woods and you come back, then you have to wash those clothes. You can't just, like, put them back on when you go exercise again later in the week, because you have to make sure there's no ticks on them. Dang. That's another logistical consideration. This is what being an outdoor person does to you. There's so many things you gotta think about. I'm genuinely lucky that my gym is literally a 3-minute walk away. That's a good point, because when I was going to the gym, it didn't really matter that it was like a 20-minute drive either way. I would, like, drive 20 minutes and then be there for 45 minutes to an hour and then leave. Adderall shortage still fucking me. Been without meds for almost 2 weeks. Ugh. I did have to wait on a Ritalin refill recently, but it didn't end up being super long. But still, if I had not, I was like, I have some extra because I don't take them twice a day like I'm supposed to. I lost so many of my outdoors and healthy habits during the pandemic. No time like the present to get back on it, TBH. I gotta say, it feels pretty amazing. When I go to the trails, I put on sunscreen and bug spray, which makes me a uniquely slimy individual once I get sweating. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I was Googling, like, this is the kind of neurosis that I get. I was Googling, like, what time of day is the best day, like, what time of day is the best time to take a shower? Because I'm debating, like, should I be a morning person, shower in the morning, or, like, in the evening? And broadly speaking, I guess the evening is highly recommended for your showers. But if I go hiking, effectively, then I'm going to want to shower, like, right after that. So it's like the struggle is real. Oh my gosh. Make sure everybody's drinking water. That's highly important. Make sure you're doing that. I'm currently using my hyperfixation for Warhammer 40k Sisters of Battle to push me. I want those abs. True. Like, find your inspiration out there. Find someone you're like, I want to look like that. Like, that's hot. Like, you know, my appreciation for Claire Max is completely asexual. Like, the lady, okay, if you don't know, if you haven't already seen, and even if you have already seen, guess what? We're doing it again. There is this one very buff woman who, oh my god, what is her name? It's not, yeah, it is Claire Max. Okay. Like, I do not have any sexual attraction to this woman, really. Like, she just is very buff and therefore goals. Pretty much. Like, I think that she is... Her arms... Listen, my arms are never gonna be that big, but I can dream. Like, I aspire to be like this. Maybe not quite as muscular as she is, but, you know. Look up Kitty Bitty Games and cosplay on Twitter. She's also goes Kitty Bitty Games. Kitty Bitty. Oh, I can't talk. Kitty Bitty? Kitty Bitty? It's not showing up in a search. Nope, it's not showing up in a search. You gotta link it. You gotta link it to me. Anyway. So yeah, just find your person that you're like, that's goals, baby. And then achieve it. Achieve it! You know you can. Delightful. There is so much Supreme Court news. All these people wanting to put on muscle and size, and here I am wanting to be tiny and more femme. You can achieve that through exercise as well. Just do a lot of cardio and a lot of low weight, high repetition stuff, and you'll get like lean, harder to see underlying muscles. Do some core work so that you can prop yourself up. Kitty Bit Games. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, that's... I think YouTube would not enjoy me sharing that one. Oh, I think I saw her recently, because I saw she censored the armpit. But yeah, her also got big arms. She got big arms. She got big arms. That's the impressive shit. I can't wait until I'm ready to fucking bulk again, though. The annoyance of learning what trans men go through. Small dose of tea with my E and constantly have doctors and pharmacies making it a pain to get a small dose of tea. Oh, are they, like, they're just not wanting to give it to you? I don't get why she censored the armpit. I mean, I guess some people were being weird at her about her armpits, I'm guessing. Holy shit. Yo, oh my god. Dude, holy fucking... Oh, wow. I don't know if I want my shoulders and back to look like that, but that's impressive. That's very, very impressive. She does it very consistently, too. She's, like, consistently censoring the armpits. Interesting choices. But anyway, yeah, I can see why she's goals. We salute the buff women. Thank you for making goals happen. Orcs, Space Marines, Killer T-Cell, and my friends Homebrewed and Euromasculine Giants are my body inspo. Nice. Oh, gosh. I love Muscle Girls. 10 minutes in this dream. I already need a bonk. Bonk! Bonk. I don't have a bonking thing. Sometimes I have a bonking thing. This is my... It's for my wristband for my keyboard. Like, bonk. Bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. Love to see cis women out-masculinizing me. Yeah, for sure. Makes it a little bit better. Makes it a little bit better. What's up, Riley? Thank you, Uncomfortable, for giving your likes. We appreciate it. Oh yeah, like, so, if you're here and you're enjoying hanging out, hit like, because we will eventually talk about the news. I just really want to, like, dick around for a little while, because I'm fucking really hot in my apartment. So, yeah. Buff plus short equals dwarf pill. Dunk. I have not seen Crocodile Dundee. I don't know if I have seen Crocodile Dundee. I'm not sure. Hey! Finger guns. Yep, I see you. Jeez, like, how many links do I even have? So, because Twitter is dying, I'm gonna be relying a bit more on the stream recommendations channel in the Discord server. There's 31 viewers and, like, 24 likes. Okay, that's a little bit better. There's all kinds of shit about the Supreme Court right now. Affirmative action, same-sex discrimination. They keep not knowing how to get it to me for one reason or another. The bottle is supposed to be 3 years of it, but I'm getting more since it expired last month. Oh, okay. You forgot to like? How dare you? Bonk with the packer? Bonk? Bonk. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Yeah, I don't really wear this packer as much as I would want to. I gotta, like, maybe make a new one, reevaluate the size situation. Maybe use different yarn, even. Did you see the DeSantis ad that's got all the gay Republicans upset? I didn't actually watch it, but I did save it on Twitter so that I could check it out later. Okay, let me see. Oh, this is fun, just while we're here. Yesterday, parts of the U.S. South experienced wet bulb temperatures of 94 Fahrenheit, or 34.5 C. At these temperatures, no amount of shade or hydration can save you. Without AC, you will die. And this is just the beginning. Yay! Yay! And, like, all of eastern Kansas is in that red zone, too. So that's cool. It's fucking hot. Yeah, so this is... Republican operatives have expressed dismay at being targeted by Ron DeSantis' campaign after, quote, one of the worst anti-LGBT plus ads in history. So I haven't seen this in detail yet. I just retweeted that so that I could see it now, basically. Okay, here's the ad. Okay, yeah. Good stuff. There was a week and a half worth of 101 Fahrenheit here 2 years ago. No air conditioning and no airflow. I actually just spent so much time with my face covered by a wet towel. It was horrible. Ugh, that sounds awful. The Bank of England says people of any gender can get pregnant, and GB News is mad. Of course they are. Of course they're so mad. It's like I don't even have any commentary right now on how stupid people are. It's like, duh, they're stupid. I'm feeling a little bit better now that I'm sitting down. I did exercise earlier and I worked myself up to a hot temperature. So my air conditioner is just gonna be running fucking constantly. I'm trying a thing out. I was in the middle of trying to set it up before stream started, but I'm not gonna be able to finish it. Like, obviously, I did not have time to finish getting it set up, but, like, I'm gonna try to block off my air conditioner a little bit better so that there's not such a huge, like, background noise issue. I like, have gotten some decent headphones recently, and I can hear all of the background shit now, and it's bothering me, so I'm like, I have to do better soundproofing. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow, which will cool us off to only 92 degrees out. It's been a similar thing here, mama, where, you know, it's like 100 degrees, and then it rains, and then it's like 86. Like, I was like, all right, come on. Thank you. Cool. Great. Oh, God. At least, like, everywhere that I have to be has, like, central air conditioning, so... But... I feel bad for people who work, like, warehouse jobs, and people who have to work in... Like, people who work for UPS, for example. No wonder they're striking. Everything, like, it's fucking... It's hot out there. It's super, super hot. And I've already drank an entire glass of water. Cool. So, yeah, so my stuff that I kind of have on the docket for today... is, yeah, UK houses usually don't have any AC at all. Yeah, that's the only thing about the idea of moving to Washington and the Pacific Northwest is that a lot of places up there might have, like, window units, but they don't have central AC. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I could handle not having central air. hasn't been bad here heat-wise, but the air quality is going to give me a migraine. Yeah, like, where I live is just outside the range usually, or like right at the edge of the range of where smoke is from either like in the northeast or from out west. Like, we get some of it, but not like a shit ton, and so sometimes we have haze, but it doesn't usually compromise our air quality very much. It's just fucking really hot. Yeah, if only we had seen this rise in temperature coming. Perhaps we could have come together as a society and done something about it. I think that you're telling silly stories, Mama. You're telling silly stories. Yeah, for the most part, the PNW is fine, but during the hottest month, it cooks us. Yeah. It's like the one good thing about living in Kansas. That even when it's extreme temperatures, like, we have heating and central air conditioning in most of the places where you can live. I cringe to go outside even for Pride. This part of why I don't go to Pride. It's like the primary reason why I have never been to Pride is because it's always fucking hot. And more recently I have more reasons not to go, but primarily it's always just been because I do not want to be outside in June. I do not want to be outside, especially on like a city street. It's so hot. You got the black asphalt underneath you, a bunch of buildings around you, and no trees. No. I'm surprised that there hasn't been an increased pressure to house homeless people in America to avoid what could become another mass death. Well, for the powers that be, homeless people dying is a good thing. Like, poor people dying is a good thing. So, that's like, they don't really, it doesn't matter, you know? Even though you could take homeless people and house them for very little money, and then they would be able to get jobs and be economically productive. But no, for some reason, the system requires cruelty. My birthday is this month, and I'm worried if I invite people over, they will be flash fried. Oh no, Texas. Really uplifting conversation I just came into. Yes, Spider, we're talking about global warming and climate change. Sorry. Because, like, I'm bitching about how the fact that my air conditioner is just running constantly and it's still fucking hot in here. It's like almost 80 degrees in my house. And my air conditioner is like... It's like trying so hard. We have Pride in September. Oh yeah, over... Is it just in your city or is it a UK thing? Or it's like... August is when Pride is in the UK? Right when I'm trying to get a USPS job because it's one of the higher paying opportunities that's currently available to me. Yeah, I mean, you can do it, especially if you're new. Like, if you're trying to be a mail carrier, Riley, if you're new at it, you'll probably be on a route that requires you to get out of the vehicle and walk a lot, which is safer than being inside the van. So, you got that going for you. The local Pride is right outside. Me, a friend, and myself started going into buildings. Yeah, just duck into this business really quick for 5 minutes and get your air conditioner. Pride is July in the UK. Okay. We need to get something consistent. Like, Pride needs to be more consistent. Oh, I saw that too, Jay. Rising temperatures and rain are causing the mosquito population to explode, which means higher risk of malaria and similarly transmitted disease. Yeah, like, I think malaria and Lyme disease are both on the rise right now because, you know, not only is it so hot and humid during the summer, but it's also, like, not cold enough for long enough over the winter, so it's not killing, like, enough of the... Like, they're reproducing more during times of the year when they shouldn't be, instead of, like, going into a full hibernation, whatever. I'm in Idaho, but they started having Pride in September because of COVID and have just kept doing it. September is a good time of year. I love September. I mean, usually. It's hot there now as well, but whatever. It's good. So many bug pests on plants, too. I'm glad that I have not had the urge to buy any new plants this year. Have I bought any new plants since January? I don't think so. I have like 30 plants and I don't need any more. Although, like, I think my sister did offload some plants onto me, but I haven't bought any in a long time. Hello, Quarbarian! September is still so far away, y'all. Like, please let's not try to invoke September yet, because when September comes, listen, you're gonna be disappointed, perhaps. We're not doing Sunday streams from September through to the end of October. So for like 8 weeks, for like 7 or 8 weeks, we're not gonna do Sunday streams at all. And I might even not do 2 streams a week the entire time, depending on how fucking tired I am, because I'm gonna be working like extra hard on the weekends. What shirt are you wearing? I am wearing Mr. Atheist shirt. Mr. Atheist? Mr. Atheist. Represent. Yeah, I'm gonna have so much shit to do in September and October. And then I'm gonna move, like, in November, so it's just gonna be really fucking busy starting in September. From September through to the end of the year, I am gonna be running on, like, extra hardcore mode. Is that true, Jaybird Vlogs? There's a place in Taiwan named Tongzhou. This place used to be named Tunzhou, and Tunzhou means swallow sperm. I feel like that's not true. That sounds like an urban legend, but I will take it. Yeah, swallow is in the verb or the bird. We need more spiders. True, Riley. True, we need more spiders. Gotta get rid of these mosquitoes and ticks. You know what we need also for the ticks is more possums. More possums to eat the ticks. Stop hitting possums with your car. It's public service announcement. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so we got this DeSantis thing. Let's see, how many links do I have open for the Supreme Court right now? Okay, this lady filing a First Amendment lawsuit thing is pretty funny too. The Supreme Court. Okay, so here's one about gender identity. Here's one about Supreme Court and affirmative action. Here's one about discrimination of same-sex couples. What else did we have? Did we have more? Student debt relief. Yeah, student debt relief. This SCOTUS was just, like, really fucking busy this June. Hello, Violet. Was just watching the trans person who used to work for TOIT spilling the tea about the transphobia being pushed there. Oh, really? Where was that from? I want people to be nice to pigeons because of the, we made them what they are. Poor pigeons. I know, it's terrible. I am not very entertaining today, apparently. I apologize, everybody, for being so low energy. This is what happens when it's hot. Oh, okay, so this is from the actual person. Like, why I left the Young Turks. Over the past several months, Anna Kasparian and Cenk have, taken increasingly transphobic stances, especially regarding trans women in sports, but also more generally when it comes to trans youth getting access to gender-affirming care. They've begun to lash out at anyone that calls them out on where they are wrong and basically refuse to learn. Recently, Anna went so far as to defend Jesse Singal, who is very well known as a transphobe. And so Ben put out a 30-minute video about why I left the Young Turks. I wonder if we should watch that. Maybe this can be a super low energy stream where I only react to this and don't talk about anything else. I would change the title of the stream for you. I would do it. Does anybody have any good videos on what's going on in France? I feel like it's so much harder to keep up with the news and especially international affairs since Twitter hit the fan. I know, doesn't that suck? We did have a couple of French folks who were talking about it, but I don't know that we collected any links last time. Yes, Taiwan stuff. You know the Ohio invasion meme? DeSantis is going to do exactly that if he becomes president. Federally protected queerphobia. I haven't seen the Ohio invasion meme, I don't think. But I completely agree. Like, if DeSantis wins, it's going to be... He's going to push a lot of shit really quickly. And they'll challenge it in the courts, but I don't know if it's going to function. That's why... There's a reason why a Supreme Court segment needs to happen this week, even if it doesn't happen tonight. Because... Yeah, we can party low-key. Because, like, they're not being consistent about their decisions right now. That's, like, one of the scary things about the Supreme Court at the moment, is that it's being wildly inconsistent about, like, what we can expect with regards to their decisions. All the sources I found about France were mostly from corporate news. Hard to find what people on the ground are reporting since it's all in French. Yeah, I guess that's fair. You just gotta learn French, Violet. God. Obviously. Oh my god, this Ben Shapiro thing. I have forgotten. Like, I was like, oh man, I didn't think that there was going to be that much to talk about on stream today, but there's actually so much bullshit that we could talk about. Ben Shapiro. I love Ben Shapiro. He's so fun to talk about. Hey, Slaps Hungry Bears, welcome in. Hello, everybody. I used to know French in late elementary, but I forgot most of it because it genders everything and it gets hard for my brain to understand. Same issue I had learning Spanish. That's true. It's super arbitrary. It's actually very consistent. They will do and say whatever is advantageous to their goals of instituting fascism. True. True, they don't have to be consistent. I have a queer friend who used to work for TYT before they laid off basically all the LGBT staff in 2018. I'm really not surprised. Oh wow, really? There's riot uprisings happening in France at the moment, and they have recently spread to Switzerland, all because of the neo-fascism happening across the Western world. Riots spread to Switzerland? What's going on in Switzerland? What's up, trans girl Jade? Who's spouting fascism now? Everybody. Everybody's fascist now, including me. Ben sounds like a weasel. The Ben Shapiro versus Shen Bapiro debate. Oh, I'm not familiar with this. Ben Shapiro versus Shen Bapiro. They've been limiting social media access in France to stop coordination. Oh shit. I bet that's gonna piss off the people even harder. I feel like if you're French, like, don't fuck with French people. Like, don't make the, like, protesting harder for them because they will just kick your dick in backwards. It's just Ben debating and debunking himself. Oh, okay, I see. Unsurprising. He talks so fast, I swear he's on Red Bull. He could be. So, yeah, we could do a little bit of a Ben Shapiro segment. Just a little bit of one. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really up for a whole fucking Supreme Court thing tonight. I might need to change the stream title. The French are the best at protesting. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? I don't know what they're thinking. There's a video of a chat between Neil deGrasse Tyson and Ben Shapiro. Neil totally put Ben in his place about trans people. I haven't seen that one, I don't think. Or maybe I know about it, but I didn't actually watch the whole thing, because I like... There's, like, wasn't there, like, allegations against Neil deGrasse Tyson a few years back? Modern France has a well-entrenched history of revolting against unjust authority. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't fuck with the French. They will burn your shit down. That's what they do. That's, like, the main thing that they do. Neil deGrasse Tyson is also a Musk simp. Oh, no. I hope not anymore. Ugh. Well, I think I need to refill my water cup before I go too much further in this convo. So, everybody make sure you get yourself a little drinky drink. Get yourself a little sneaky snack if you need one. And then we'll react to some stuff. For sure. And maybe do some, like, low-energy reacts. I'm gonna change the stream title, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the Supreme Court thing. I'll do the Supreme Court thing on Thursday, unless something else crazy shit happens. Let's see. I'm just gonna be honest. Low-energy react content. That's the new stream title, okay? So, hit like if you're gonna leave because I changed the stream title, or hit like if you're gonna hang out and stay. Get yourself something to drink, alright? I'll be right back. I have returned. We're here. Are we here for some low energy react content? Let's watch Ben Shapiro. I'm ready for some Ben Shapiro. Okay, okay, I need my, listen. Okay, listen. Please, yep, okay. Just buried my headphones earlier. I know it's late, but happy 4th of July. Yeah, happy 4th of July. I cannot muster up the energy for 4th of July. Listen, I'm a pagan. I just had my midsummer celebration, which was not very, I didn't really do a lot for it, TBH, but, I'm already thinking about the next holiday. I'm thinking about August 1st. August 1st is my next holiday, bitches. And I'm doing research, and I'm putting together my, decorations and everything, and I'm planning how I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna start baking bread this month. I am gonna bake some bread this month. That's a Llamas thing to do. I'm happy to be living in the first place that doesn't allow fireworks, so I have not had to deal with PTSD flashbacks. Yo, yeah, I was, like, surprised at how upsetting it has been to me this year. I guess I normally, maybe it's that other places I've lived, it's been fairly quiet, but it's been rather noticeable for me this year. Like, maybe just more people doing it in the street and stuff, you know? It's just very bothersome. Portland banned fireworks this year. Well, yeah, they have wildfires. They can't have, you guys super cannot. I didn't do much for it, and full moon yesterday, so nada for until August. Oh, Junebug, are you also midsummer? What are you talking about? Anyway, I don't get the hype for fireworks. I like had fun with it when I was a kid, right? Like, oh, is it? Oh yeah, so it's Independence Day, and you all are here hanging out with me instead of out doing things with your family members, so that's cool. Thanks. Welcome in. Yeah, it's fucking hot today, so we're just doing some low-key chill vibes. Not to mention fireworks scare pets. Okay, so here's the thing. Fireworks are fun and pretty. Those are the two good things about them. Here are the bad things about them. They harm wildlife by disorienting them, displacing them, sometimes outright killing them. Not good. Scares pets. So anxiety, not cool. Scares people with PTSD, like triggers people, keeps people from sleeping because folks have no fucking respect and will continue firing off fireworks late into the evening. It can start wildfires. There's a bunch of extra smoke pollution, which is bad for the environment. There's also a lot of random debris and detritus. Like, sometimes it's plastic debris, sometimes it's like cardboard, but like, you know, there's a whole bunch of trash that doesn't get picked up. Like, I can count on 2 hands the number of negative things about fireworks. And like, yeah, they're fun, okay? Cool. Yay. I feel like next year I might, when I have custody of my siblings, I might do like, we might do bottle rockets or sparklers or something, like something small so that they can have an experience of doing some fireworks, because I don't know that they've ever had the chance to do that. Or we'll get some of those like crackers that you throw on the ground and they pop, or like some smoke bombs, like some fun little shit that's not like super terrible, and then we'll clean it up and throw everything away. There's plenty of alternatives for fireworks, and I really do wish they'd get retired already, because they do much more harm than good. I want to know how many people actually want fireworks. Like, how many people actually want these to be accessible to purchase? Is this a situation where the majority of people want this, and it's a minority who are bothered by it, or at least a minority who are aware of the environmental impacts, etc.? Or is it a situation where it's a minority of people and they just happen to be on the side of, like, the companies that make a lot of money selling fireworks, you know? Like, hello, Captain Cougar. And hello to your sweetheart. I remember dancing around a strobing firework years ago, and it was a blast, but that's about the only good memory I have of 4th of July fireworks. Not a fan, really. Even small domestic fireworks are dangerous and a fire hazard. Yeah, for sure. I know, like, plenty of municipalities don't permit fireworks within city limits. And I think that that's a pretty reasonable approach. Like, I think that makes sense. People keep coming in for low-energy React content. I'm fucking here for it. Listen, if I can get to a point where my chill streams, my low-energy streams are getting, like, 100 viewers, that would be fucking amazing. And right now, we're at 56 viewers. So the more of you who hit like, the more likely it is that we will end up getting a larger number of people who are here just to fucking chill, which would be great. Because then that means, listen, here's what the gift that you're giving me is. The gift that you're giving all of us, if we have more active chill streams, means that I am not financially incentivized to do, like, dramatic political content all the time, which is healthier for all of us. Just joined. What's up, Connie? My entire street is like a war zone for a week, well into the early morning. Ruins everyone's week for probably a mile around. Right. It started this weekend. Like Friday or Saturday, I started hearing cracks and stuff. And then you play the fun game you play when you live in America, and you're like, gunfire or fireworks? And it's like, I'm pretty sure that for the most part, it's been fireworks. Halfling Rogue and I are gonna go watch The Expanse in a bit. Yeah, no worries. The UK has much stronger fireworks, and now locations need licenses to put on displays. They had too many firework-related accidents and violence, which pushed people into demanding controls. I wish that demanding anything would do anything, you know? Like, I feel like, you know, if prices are about to go up on, like, the water, like the city water, for example, if they're like, yeah, and we do have a public comment period, I don't think that no matter how many people go up and say, like, hey, you know how the fucking minimum wage hasn't increased? Like, you know how Kansas has, like, the same minimum wage as the federal minimum wage, and, like, lots of other states also have the same minimum wage, and, like, but you want to increase the cost of the utilities? Like, okay, so where the fuck is this money supposed to come from? But I don't think it matters how many people show up, because the point is that there is, like, someone making money. Like, municipal water, it's still privately owned, correct? They just contract with the government, if I'm remembering correctly. Thea, thank you so much, Thea Jane, with the $10 dono. Happy Tuesday. I appreciate that. Happy Tuesday to you as well. Thank you for coming for this chill stream. We appreciate you very much. Whoa. Discord. Yeah, it helps to have it concentrated on one single night. If there was one single official display and absolutely no other fireworks were legal, I think that would be reasonable. Like, maybe except for little shit like smoke bombs and stuff that, like, isn't very loud. For you, it was the 4th of July. For me, it was a Tuesday. Yeah, happy Tuesday. I am much more excited about Tuesday than I am about, Independence Day. We're just a few degrees away from water riots, especially in drought-prone areas. It's gonna be terrifying. Snakes, the most underrated fireworks. True. Yeah, actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we should do some... Yeah, I think that my siblings would enjoy doing a little bit of, like, low-key fireworks in a parking lot somewhere, maybe. Just little stuff. But otherwise, yeah, not really gonna happen. Okay, so... I might be wrong about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seems like this Ben Shapiro clip is talking about how, essentially, like, discrimination against a gay person isn't really happening. It's like discrimination against your extremely F-slur behavior. Like, it kind of seems like that's the vibe that this is coming in at. So I wanted to react to it on this low-energy day and see what the hell is up with that. Didn't snakes nearly destroy the entire state of Colorado in the late 90s? I don't know. Fireworks are like guns. They can easily be made at home, and therefore it would be very difficult to regulate them. Yeah, but they still could be regulated, and you can, you know, increase the penalties for making them and doing it. Every day should be a low-energy day. True. Okay, well, so what does Ben Shapiro have to say?
Now.
Okay, no. Be quiet. Wait. Shush. Be quiet, sir. I need to fix this so that the sound is coming through my earbuds. Thank you very much, sir. Alright, so tell me the sweet nothings, Mr. Shapiro.
Now, to be fair, there's
God.
confusion that arises when it comes to LGBT issues. Why? Well, because that's a question of self-identity.
I'm gonna make it quiet from the I'm gonna change that volume from the beginning. Let's start over. Okay, Ben Shapiro, tell me the sweet nothings.
Now, to be fair, there's confusion that arises when it comes to LGBT issues. Why? Well, because that's a question of self-identity. How would you even know if somebody walked into your business and they were gay unless they told you they were gay? I mean, that is literally the only way that you would know. Or, in fact, they asked you to do a message for gay marriage. Or they explained to you that they were married to another person of the same sex. There are a lot of people who have various characteristics who are gay. The gay community is, in fact, not quite as stereotypical as TV would make it out to be.
This almost sounds like a positive thing. I'm waiting for the but. I'm waiting for the but, because it just, you know, yeah, you're correct. There's some people who just are totally straight passing. But, you know, there are some common behaviors that subcultures tend to develop. The more time you spend around other people who are a certain way, the more likely you are to develop your own unique sort of, like, signals and culture. So, yeah, that seems totally normal. But I'm just, where are you going with this, sir? His eyebrows get thicker every day. Yeah, these fucking Rock Lee eyebrows out here. They're just devouring the entire top part of his face.
Which means that very often, quote-unquote, discrimination against a gay person is not, in fact, discrimination against a gay person. It's discrimination against behavior that is conducted by a person who happens to be gay. That is not the same thing at all. And that's the point the court is making. This is, by the way...
So he's commenting on the Supreme Court here and saying, like, yeah, basically we're trying to make it so that if you just don't... it's kind of trying to distinguish between the thing that you are and the thing that you do, right? Like, if you are gay, that's fine. But if you talk about being gay, that's the level that it's not okay that we're policing. Or, like, you know, obviously you can't go that route exactly because of the First Amendment. But, like, if only you weren't, you know, talking with a lisp. Or if only you weren't, like, walking in a certain way that makes you look gay. And so it's legal to discriminate against those behaviors because it doesn't have anything to do with you being gay. I'm not discriminating against you for, like, literally taking it in the butt on the weekends. I'm discriminating against you for talking like this. Like, which is okay, apparently, you know? Yeah, you're allowed to be gay if you're celibate, never act on the gay impulse. Yeah, it's more like stop acting like such a faggot, I think, is the idea here. Hello, Kitty. Welcome in. Thank you for hanging out with us. His beard is giving movie character goes into a crazed spiral trope.
A major distinction that has never been properly drawn in the law, but needs to be drawn in the law. The gay rights movement has claimed they're the new civil rights movement. These are absolutely disparate movements. They are not alike in any way, shape, or form. The black civil rights movement was about the idea that you have an immutable characteristic that is not behaviorally based. Your race. It has nothing to do with your behavior. It has nothing to do with your feelings. You're black, whether you feel black or whether you don't feel black. Whether you quote-unquote act black or whether you don't act black, obviously. In fact, there is no such thing as quote-unquote acting black.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, the racism slipped a little bit there, buddy. Okay, calm down.
Other than stereotypes. That is not the same thing when it comes to issues of sexual orientation, which is about interior feeling. It is about behavior in the real world. And that is why putting LGBT as members of a quote-unquote protected class under anti-discrimination law starts to get into very dicey activity as far as forcing other people to accept a behavior, not an actual objective state of the world that is visible to everyone else.
Your religion is protected, Benjamin. And I can't tell by looking at you, per se. Like, I mean, maybe with Jewish people, it is like, yeah, you can kind of tell by looking at some Jewish people that they're Jewish. But, like, that's because it's also an ethnicity. But, like, you can't tell. You couldn't tell looking at me that I'm a pagan. Jesus Christ, I keep meaning to go find my pentacle because I used to wear it a bunch, and now I don't know where it is. I do want to start wearing it again, though. But, like, you cannot tell by looking at someone what their religion is. Religion is a behavior and a belief and a choice, but that's legally protected. I swear to God. Like, I hate him so much. That literally is not the point the court made, Ben. So many lies, it gets tiring. It's not discrimination, just banning burqas while allowing cops to wear crosses. Ben Shapiro sounds like he said one too many cups of coffee. Too many cups of coffee. Too many coffee cups. Yeah, someone on the comments of this says, I don't hate gay people, I just hate being gay. Or sorry, I just hate people being gay. Ontario tried to do this a while ago, making burqas prohibited in public while allowing cops to wear crosses. It's like in France, they also passed a law that made it to where burqas and like other sorts of head coverings were illegal. And it's, you know, it's patronizing either way, I think. If you try to tell women what to wear, like, you know, if the religion is forcing them to do it, that's one thing. But as the government, you're also forcing some women not to do it because they want to. And all you're doing really is creating a situation where women who are deeply entrenched in their religion and who aren't willing to go out in public without wearing one of these coverings, they are just more likely to be trapped in situations where they're being abused, you know, where the extremism gets even more extreme. It's not a good situation. You don't want to make a policy that makes it to where certain kinds of women, like, aren't going to be able to be in public. Like, that they can't come and seek help. They will not be in contact with any mandatory reporters. Like, that's an issue. Ben is wet for some BBC. Some big, beautiful chocolate. Oh, man. It's so hard to lose weight because sugar is so fucking addictive. Like, sugar is the one thing that I have. Because I don't really drink that much. And when I do drink, I'm quickly reminded of why I don't want to do it on a regular basis. I'm, like, off caffeine. I am off nicotine. So the only thing I really have is fucking sugar. And it's so hard to stop. But I really do want to be losing weight right now. And then I will switch back to gaining weight later. Ben is into femboys. There's a video where he's watching a femboy dancing and he smiles and goes red. He's just aggressively in the closet. Oh, is this a new theory? Is this new Ben Shapiro lore? That he is, that he's a closet case? It was super scary driving my friend across the country a few months back. I went boy mode almost the whole way. It's ridiculous being, quote, American right now. Yeah, the simple task of giving up the one thing that makes life worth living. Sugar is also my one vice, I feel you. Right. You just gotta find some kind of replacement for it. And I've even already had sugar today, but I'm just like, you know, what would be really good is some chocolate. Like, duh, what would be really good is some chocolate. What are you gonna actually do later, though? It's like, what I'm gonna actually do later probably is make some fucking Brussels sprouts. Because Brussels sprouts are also delicious. Hello, Mersh, welcome in. I enjoy the bromance between Shapiro and Voosh. There's a bromance there? I was not aware of this. I did not know. Look at that, we got a couple of likes, and then we immediately got a couple more viewers in. Look at that. How does that work? Crazy. I gotta go to the store this week, but I gotta wait for my Snap card to refill. I can't remember what day of the month it's supposed to refill, so I'm gonna have to, like, check my balance and then go to the grocery store. Sprouts are food of the devil. Listen, Brussels sprouts are yummy. And I'm probably gonna make, like, some, like, tzatziki or some similar type of sauce. How many of these right-wingers would be queer if they didn't aggressively suppress their feelings? I find it really tough, this conversation, because on the one hand, yes, I do think that some anti-gay people are closet cases, and I also think that if you make this joke all the time, and if you assume that every anti-gay person is secretly gay, what this does is, like, on some level, reinforces that gay people are responsible for their own oppression. Like, that, you know, as though there's no other reason for someone to try to limit our rights than they are self-hating and want to retaliate because of that. You know what I mean? Like, there are just people who fucking hate gay people, and there are people who don't hate gay people, but they don't care about us at all, and they're willing to use us as a scapegoat for their fascist takeover. Because again, like, I don't even think it has anything to do with us. I think it has to do with just taking the power, and they don't really care if we stick around or not. I loathed Brussels sprouts as a kid, and they're one of my favorite veggies now. My mom also just steamed them and served them like that. Oh my god, that's horrendous. I do olive oil, salt, and pepper at a minimum. At a minimum, olive oil, salt, and pepper. And then either in the oven, or honestly, I prefer to do it in the air fryer, but air fryers are a pain in the ass to clean, so I don't actually like doing that very much. Jimmy has not let me use it's on his show, to be clear, Jaybird. He just didn't ask me. The first time I was on the show, he just did not ask what my pronouns were. And then the second time I was on the show, Jimmy was not there. So, I would have to talk to him before I go on next time about... It's like, is it on the lower third or something? Where it shows pronouns? Like, because I didn't even... I'm like, where did it even say my pronouns on the show? But yeah, it has nothing to do with him not letting me use those pronouns. It's just like, he just didn't ask because he didn't know that I'm using different pronouns now. Anyway... But yeah, Brussels sprouts are delicious. And yeah, I would like to make some kind of sauce with them. Maybe like a yogurt-based sauce for my Brussels sprouts. Something like tangy to complement the flavor. He said before he doesn't let people use it. Okay, well, I might have to talk to him about it. When did he say that? Like, was it on the show? Because I might have to have a conversation with him about it then. Like, you don't have a right to police my pronouns. I love that this conversation has taken off into two separate directions. We're having two separate conversations right now. We're having a conversation about food and a conversation about pronouns and whatever else. I have a lobbyist smoking buddy who I talk to twice a week. He tells me that he knows for a fact a large number of Republican congressmen are indeed gay. He says that they are throwing us under the train in order to protect their own financial interests. They lose trust funds if gay, for example. I mean, sure. We can't substantiate, right? It's just hearsay. Do you incorporate magic in your cooking? Not really yet. I'm gonna do baking this month, though, so maybe. It was probably at one point where he could tell someone was being facetious about its pronouns. I mean, like, if he doesn't allow callers to use its pronouns, that's different. I am on the show. Love me some properly cooked and prepared pronouns. I know lots of people self-identify with sprouts, which deserves respect. Totally not persuaded on sprouts, force-fed them as a child. I don't care. I think they're delicious, but, you know, like, some people eat chocolate and they go, ugh, this is gross. Like, there are people who dislike chocolate, so yeah, I don't care whether you like Brussels sprouts, don't eat them then. More for me. Anyway, let's watch this video about the Young Turks, huh? That sounds fun today. It sounds like a low-energy thing for me to do. Sprout gang! Sprout, 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 sprout. That would be adorable. I could easily 3D print, like, I have some headbands, so I could do a headband and just 3D print a little green sprout thing and then, like, glue it on top, and then I could have a little sprout. I disagree, Connie. I can understand finding too much chocolate disgusting. Yo, I am craving s'mores right now so badly. I can't wait to maybe someday, like, own a place that has, like, a fire pit. That would be fucking lit. My partner bought some Sprout hair clips off Amazon a while back. Adorable. Dangly Sprout earrings. I have green yarn, but this is not the color of a sprout. This is a darker green. That is not the color of sprouts. This is the color of holly leaves and other shit like that. Which I did not- I made 3 of these, and then I was supposed to attach them and make some berries, and I frickin' never finished it. I need to do it before Christmas this year. If it's the one from Ben Carollo, it's kind of intense. Is it Carollo? Carollo? Yes, that's the video. Is it kind of intense? Let me... hold on. Are there any content warnings?
On the title of this video, I'm done with TYT. Now, before we get into like everything about this,
Are there content
about
warnings?
all of the hosts. There are actually a ton
Hello?
of people
Content
at TYT
warnings?
that I think
No, no content warnings. People have been transvestigating Ben for years now. I mean, based on the picture on the YouTube channel, like, hold on, let's go there. Based on the picture on the YouTube channel, I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say that this person is gender fluid of some kind. No worries, Baphomet. We are getting back around. Carreo? What kind of baking are you gonna do this month? Jay, I'm gonna do bread baking because Llamas is August 1st, and I'm gonna... Oh, Ben is she, her pronouns? So, wait, people have been transvestigating Ben, but Ben uses she, her? Where? Where? Oh, okay, I saw something that said she... Okay, it says she, her in the corner. On the Twitch things. Okay, cool, yeah, I see. TYTB grifting hard. Yeah, we're gonna watch this video, because I want to know what's going on with TYT. And I also want to do a low-energy chill stream. I want to start my sourdough starter, but it is a commitment to keep it alive. I've never tried to do that. I have not seen the DeSantis ad. Someone did bring it to my attention, but I haven't watched it, and I don't think I'm gonna watch it today because it's too fucking hot. People get it mixed because she had a career before she transitioned. Oh, okay, fair enough. I think the vast majority of homophobia is legitimately just fear that you might be gay, not necessarily that you are gay. Fear of the unknown, perhaps? Anyway, let's just go ahead and do this. Because I'm sleepy. Let's do it. Let's go.
Alright, so in case it wasn't obvious from the title of this video, I'm done with TYT. Now, before we get into like everything about this isn't about all of the hosts. There are actually a ton of people at TYT that I think are genuinely cool people. This is mostly about Cenk and Anna. But of course, since like they're the people that are like the big names on the network and Cenk kind of like owns the company, it's a pretty big deal when they do something like, I don't know, become incredibly transphobic and start what appears to be a ridiculous right-wing grift. I mean, literally everything from the things that they said about homeless people to the stuff that they said about abolitionists and their general sort of like refusal to hear the people that are criticizing them and saying, no, this is what people are actually trying to say. You're not really hearing what we're saying, or you're not listening. Now, we're not going to focus on literally all of the right-wing things that they've been doing lately, especially in the past year. They've done this pivot where they go after prison abolitionists, people who say defund the police, homeless people, and anybody that they think is a radical left. Because, you know, doing the enlightened centrist thing is really a smart move in this year, 2023. Right, I still got that calendar right. No, we're mostly going to be focusing on their transphobia, which they have been escalating rapidly, which I guess is something that everybody really predicted would happen starting, I think about 6 months ago, 4 months ago, when Anna Kasparian put out a tweet complaining about the use of the term birthing person.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is really, really funny.
Was this really the start? Was this really the start, or is Ben about to tell us that this all started way before this?
She kept on talking about how, like, it erases women, and it minimizes womanhood down to just body parts. Except for it literally doesn't. Everybody very immediately pointed out that that's a silly thing to say, that, in fact, thinking that the term woman and birthing person are completely interchangeable actually does reduce women to body parts. And what precipitated this is even more silly because it was originally in reference to AOC and other politicians using the term when they're talking about abortion rights. And I don't know if you know this, but abortion rights are pretty specific to people with uteruses who are capable of having children. And so the term birthing person is a pretty useful term to be narrow enough.
Oh, says I was talking about they've been transvestigating Ben Shapiro, not Ben Carroyo. Yeah, like that, I guess that Ben is like short and like that has a patchy beard and therefore is like trans mask or is an egg.
To be specific, but also cover all of the relevant people, and that's why politicians have been using it in that context. Since posting the original tweet, literally it seems like they keep going back and forth whenever they hear that argument. Basically, if there's somebody reasonable in the room with them saying why the term birthing person might be used, then they're like, yeah, I guess it makes sense in that context, but I just don't like it. But when somebody reasonable isn't around, then they just go and complain about the term birthing person again. And that really is why so many people predicted that they were going to go into this extreme TERF pipeline, because, of course, that's a very common starting point right there. The trans people are erasing women. Oh my god. But then everything escalated when they decided to talk about trans people in sports. Which is a very common thing that a lot of cisgender people like to complain about because they don't understand how hormones work. And instead of attempting to try and get any type of understanding, they just want to sit and argue about their assumptions about how they think hormones should work. They come in with all of these assumptions about biological males and think that there's some sort of magic secret advantage that just exists.
Oh, that's true, Phoebe G. Yeah, there's a difference between getting pregnant and being capable of giving birth. Plenty of people can get pregnant and, like, are not physically capable of giving birth. Like, either hosting the pregnancy long enough for it to be viable or, like, physically, like, pushing a human being out of their body without it killing both of them. Like, there are some people for whom this is just physically not doable. Riley's Law. Once someone posts transphobia once, they will eventually only post transphobia. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious, Spider. Oh my god. That's really impressive.
persistently, regardless as to what hormones are literally dictating what your body is doing at the time. And that's where I came in, and I started tweeting at some of the hosts, saying that, hey, you're wrong about this, that, or the other thing. You're missing these details. Hey, you're literally just being transphobic right now. I even reached out to people within the network to say, like, hey, I would like to maybe sit down with Cenk and maybe even have an on-the-air conversation where I could talk about how all of this stuff actually works. You know, I may not be a doctor, but I like to think that in my master's degree in biotechnology and my experience literally being a trans person, who, by the way, most trans people will do a ton of research about hormones before they get on them, because a lot of doctors don't really know that much about it. So that's actually something that I did, where I spent a ton of time like reading through like research papers about what would be like the best for my transition, how it would go, and things like that. So I'd like to think, with my background, with some experience in biology, and, you know, reading a ton about how specifically hormone replacement therapy works for trans women like myself, I might know a thing or two about all of these things. And I figured, hey, if Cenk doesn't know about this, maybe it'd be interesting for him to learn. But with that, though, he wasn't really interested in having an on-the-air conversation, because, you know, he seemed pretty intent on not changing his mind, but he was open to having a phone conversation. So I handed to him on that,
Okay.
like, yeah, great. So we had a chat over the phone. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into the details of literally every single thing that we talked about. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis, because that's...
Yeah, it's interesting how many self-proclaimed allies refuse to listen to trans voices. People are just like, nah, I don't really want to listen to you at all. Like, I'm good, thank you. I have decided that I understand everything about being trans, and I do not require your input.
really all that's important. And there are two main sticking points that I really want to touch on that happened within that phone call that I think were really a sign of like how far things were gonna go, and honestly how much further things might go from here still. The first sticking point was Cenk seemed convinced of this idea that I'm living in some sort of bubble. They've even said it on the air, that people fighting for trans rights are all living in some sort of bubble. The problem with that is I have a lot of random trans people from a ton of different political perspectives that will like reach out to me about like, hey, how are things going at TYT? Or hey, you're really inspiring. You know, stuff like that. And I also have like a decent circle of friends and family, many of which who are sort of all over the place politically. I told Cenk very specifically, you know, I have friends that are like big Joe Biden fans, right? Like they are theoretically to your political right. His reaction to that was quite literally laughter, which I just thought was like so hilarious. And he just kind of wouldn't believe. He was like, no, you're in a bubble. You're in a bubble. And I kept pressing. I was like, no, Cenk, you don't understand. I matched with a random person on Tinder, and the first thing that they started talking to me about is how transphobic TYT has been lately. Because I think that they had just kind of figured out who I was. And Cenk was like, no, see, you're living in a bubble. And it's like, yeah, okay, buddy. That completely random person I matched with on Tinder is just part of the bubble that I'm magically living in. But really, that kind of gave me the vibe of like, oh, Cenk really thinks that like every trans person is part of some sort of ideology, that we're of like a strict like political viewpoint, and that we don't...
Yeah, that like the being trans in and of itself gives you like an entire set of ideological beliefs, as if there aren't extremely contentious disagreements even within the trans community. Yeah, it's so frustrating, people using this tactic. Yeah, wish we were just making up transphobia. True.
Just exist as like a type of person that exists, you know? It really did seem like Cenk was of the mind that to be transgender is to subscribe to a very specific political viewpoint. Which, I don't know if you know this, but that's actually something that the like most unhinged transphobes are like spewing as conspiracy theories and stuff like that. They're like, these trans rights activists are all part of this strict ideological group, and they're infecting people with this radical gender ideology, is literally what like these unhinged right-wingers are saying. But it does kind of seem like Cenk is just kind of in that camp of like, oh, if you're trans, you must by definition be like some sort of radical leftist.
Because they don't understand that like being trans is a thing that you are and is happening to you. They think that it's like a thing that you've chosen to do, because all they see is the external behavior, and they think it's really so dramatic, like it's so drastic. Oh, the things that you're doing to your body, the huge changes, like the, you know, sacrificing your former social life and doing all this stuff. Like, people don't get that that's a desperate attempt to be your authentic self. Like, it's not like nobody chooses to be trans. I mean, very few people probably choose to be trans because they pick a label out of a hat and decide, oh, I'm gonna be this today. Or like, I've decided that gender roles are bullshit and therefore I am going to transition. Like, no. Yeah, it's an existential phenomena coming from your core self. Yeah, like it's something that is happening to me. I didn't like choose to be trans. It just happened to me. Whatever.
You know, clearly like not connecting the dots about people like Caitlyn Jenner or Blair White existing, which honestly was just really, really frustrating to have in that conversation, because the people that are in my circle of friends are people who like literally have been homeless in their lives and people who literally are making like ridiculous amounts of money. I have a pretty broad circle, you know. Something that kind of happens sometimes when you're like a polyamorous trans woman that's like a little bit popular on the internet. It turns out that you can build a pretty wide circle of people from like different perspectives and backgrounds and stuff. I know, what a shocker. But then there's the other
and she
part.
works for a media company, or worked for a media company, which gives you lots of connections.
That was like even more disturbing, which was I pointed out something that Anna had said on the air, where I was like, hey, Anna said this bit about doctors giving hormone therapy to children because they were afraid of being called transphobic. And I was very clear. I was like, you know that's not happening, right? Like, you know that that isn't happening. And Cenk's response was, you know, I don't know. See, I could see it happening, though. And I'm like, no, but you couldn't, because you know if that actually did happen, that would be medical malpractice, and it would be like a federal case to just give kids hormone replacement therapy because you didn't want to seem transphobic. That's ridiculous. On its face is ridiculous. Anybody who knows anything about politics would know that not only would that be a federal case, but it would be like national headlines. Every single newspaper would turn that into the biggest story for months. I mean, literally, the biggest story transphobes have had for the past 2 months is Dylan Mulvaney being on a can of Budweiser. So do you think
Yeah, the fact that I can imagine it says a whole lot about society.
they really wouldn't make it national headlines even if it just happened once? But no, Cenk still doubled down and was like, I don't know, I could see that happening. And it's like, great, we have somebody who is like the head of a news network who is like basing political opinions off of things that he could see happening. Like, what a wonderful position to be in at this point. Like, the real brilliant five-head political take right there. You know, I could imagine this scenario, and that really says something about society, doesn't it?
True.
And that had to be one of the most unhinged parts of that phone call. But whatever. I sent him some research papers about trans people in sports that went into detail pretty clearly about, like, hey, there's no evidence that there's any reason to discriminate against trans people in sports. And that was, like, the conclusion that it came to, pretty firmly, right? Hey, there's no evidence that we should discriminate against trans people. What a wild concept. It's amazing. I know. But Cenk apparently has learned the wrong lesson from that, especially when you look at some of the clips from his most recent rant about
not a single chance he read it.
that he just did the other day regarding trans people in sports and the extreme radical activists that support trans people in sports. Now, let's listen really quick to some of the clips from this rant to see where exactly Cenk is on these issues.
No, the hormone blockers do lower the testosterone. They do even things out a lot, right? But the men still have other physical advantages. Like we maintain mass much better. And to give you a sense of how unfair this is, that where she
saying men and then like we maintain mass. Like you're not a trans woman, dipshit. Go on estrogen, see how long you can maintain that so-called mass that you have there. Cenk calls them hormone blockers the entire clip. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? Hormone blockers.
One in Canada with 275-pound bench press. I bench press 275. Okay, and that's not a big deal for a guy.
This is so ridiculous. This is literally so ridiculous. Okay, think about this. He's like, oh, this trans woman won a competition where she broke a record bench pressing 275 pounds. And clearly, that's unfair. Because I, a cisgender man, can easily bench press 275 pounds. Therefore, there must be an advantage. And it's like, my gosh.
Their puberty blockers, hormone blockers would be something like Shapiro. I don't think that puberty blockers and hormone blockers are different. It's just about which hormone they block. Like, either if you were assigned female, you're taking an estrogen blocker, or you were assigned male and you're taking a testosterone blocker, but puberty blockers and hormone blockers are all the same thing. It's just that you take different medicine for each one. Young trans girls don't take Shapiro to block puberty. Are they on monotherapy, or like do they take a different medication? I was under the impression that, are they not just puberty block? Like they don't block hormones? Do they operate on a different receptor? I didn't get to treatment young enough to know what any of this is or how it works. Yeah, it's like I've heard of Lupron. I don't know how it's supposed to be different. They are differently made blockers, but they have the same purpose, having different side effects. Kelsey says, never mind, I'm high, don't pay attention to me. It's not what they're called, but how it sounds. It sounds worse to be putting kids on hormone blockers because it sounds like you're blocking a natural thing. I believe he wants it to sound that way. I think that's fair, Beth. Like, it's a rhetorical choice, not so much about the medication. Because usually, yeah, they usually are referring to puberty blockers as a specific thing. Anyway.
She literally broke a record. Like, what are you talking about? She clearly wasn't having, like, an incredibly easy time. You're stumbling so close to the point. Like, Cenk is literally incapable in this moment of separating trans women from cisgender men in his own brain right here. Like, he is fundamentally refusing to connect the dots that hormones maybe actually have an impact on, I know this is wild, your ability to maintain mass. That maybe perhaps, like, your biological traits are not dictated by some ethereal assignment of gender that you were given at birth, and maybe perhaps are actually dictated by the hormones that are, like, flowing through your body, telling your body what to do. Like, could he have used a sillier example? He's trying to say that trans women have an advantage in sports because he personally, as a cisgender man that has never taken estrogen, would be able to beat them all at a bench press competition. This is just on its face ridiculous. But just wait, because it's gonna get worse.
I mean, it's okay, but it's not that big a deal. You're gonna put that in the women's division. I don't care how many hormone blockers you had. It's gonna make a difference, okay? And in the limited cases, they're not like instantly breaking every record like Trump is saying, right? But they're doing better than the average bear.
That's not true. Like,
yeah, that's
literally
just
show me any statistic that shows that trans women are performing better than average in sports. In fact, that's part of the research that I showed Cenk.
To be frank, I started gaining mass once I started hormones. Granted, the mass I'm gaining is fat and not muscle mass, but it's mass nonetheless. Yeah, when you're talking about sports, generally when people are talking about mass, they do mean, like, muscle. But yeah, I mean, trans girls do be getting fat asses on estrogen. Has he never seen a trans girl on E? Yeah, obviously he doesn't know any trans people. Or, like, he does know one trans person, but again, he doesn't want to listen to them. And it's like, this girl, Ben, has, like, probably been on hormones. She has the experience. She could say firsthand, like, yeah, this is what I was capable of doing before, and this is what I'm capable of doing now, and let me tell you, it's different. But cisgender men think that they fucking know everything. I may or may not have a big old booty. Hell yeah. I need to take some more pictures of the booty. I got some, like, really awesome, very tall boots, like some 4-inch heel boots, and I really should take some pictures of my ass when I'm wearing those shoes, because they're great. The old turfs. True, Tiger Bug. Welcome to the website. If you're hanging out on YouTube and you didn't know, we have the website over here. where you have custom emojis and also the ability to support the show directly through donations, wherein YouTube does not take 40% of your money. Support directly through the website. Viewers like you, thank you.
That it actually isn't happening. It literally is not happening. There is yet to be a trans woman win at the Olympics, despite the fact that trans women have been allowed at the Olympics for a long time now. Once again, it is almost like Cenk is refusing to take in the information that people are presenting to him, and is just making up things in his head and taking that as reality.
And here, I'll add one thing that's really important. And we shot a show, I don't know if you guys are ever gonna see it, we shot a pilot just this weekend with a mixed Republican and Democratic family, okay? I asked them about trans rights. Should they have the same rights, same exact rights in housing, employment, etc.? Every one of them, including hardcore Trump people, were like, yes, they should have the same exact rights.
Exactly.
When I asked about
Of course
this topic,
they'll say that, but then you actually try to press them on the issues, and then they go, oh, well, you know, just because I said that trans women should have the same rights as everybody else, like that, they're not allowed to go to women's shelters even if they've been raped. Like, you know, that's fucking stupid. Only possible advantages might be the larger lung size, maybe a small advantage in aerobic sports. But that's like, it's not the size of lungs of males in that case. Like, yeah, okay, then measure people's rib cages and like the height of their torso and distribute it based on like, again, like your size of your body parts, if that's like the thing that you're trying to equalize. But sports aren't fair. Like, sports aren't about everybody being physically the same and competition being equal. Exactly, Violet. We've done coverage of this before. The main advantage isn't even a physical advantage. It's that men's leagues have higher funding. Men have better equipment and better coaches. Living in high altitudes will also give you an advantage in lung capacity because your lungs are like breathing harder. Yeah, have lung volume categories if that's what your fucking problem is. Yeah, people in wheelchairs have the right to take the stairs like everybody else. Perfect.
every one of them, except one, no, 6 out of 7 were like, no, not competing in sports. Doesn't make sense. Men and women are different, okay? And so whether that's, we can get into the...
Yeah, so just showing like they don't understand that, like telling people that they, like, you are not in support of trans rights to exist in public as equals if you are against our right to participate in sports. That's called separate but equal. Holy shit. My grandpa had to have an oxygen machine when visiting us in Colorado because he couldn't breathe at that altitude on his own. Like, you literally cooking fucking cookies, like baking cookies is different in high altitude. It's crazy how big of a difference it makes.
Continue that scientific debate, but as far as the American people go and politics go, you're gonna lose them. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You're gonna lose them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We should
why
adjust
are
all
men
of
and
our
women
political
different?
opinions based
Maybe the
off of what's
hormones?
popular and what's unpopular.
No, it's intrinsic. It's not about their hormones. It's about their essence. It's about their chromosomes. If you're born with XX chromosomes, you are forever predetermined to be weaker than every person born with XY chromosomes. Never mind any of your hormone exposures throughout any time of your life.
Right? Because here's the thing, Cenk. You personally, as somebody that works in the news, have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to actually inform people with the facts and not worry about, like, oh, how are they going to worry about, like, what I'm saying? No, you just have to, like, give people the facts. And that as somebody who is working in media, you do actually have an influence over people's opinions.
True.
But it's playing this game of, oh, I want to sound and seem really smart, regardless as to whether that or not something is actually true. And so I'm going to say something that's not true, just because it's a big smart brain thing to say. You know, I think discriminating against trans people is okay as a smart galaxy brain strategic move, because we got to win over all of these people who just don't understand yet. Mm-hmm. Like, can we stop doing this? Can we stop playing this game of, like, I really want to look smart, so I'm afraid of saying something that is literally...
Like, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Incredible leftism right there. No morals, just voting. Yeah, like, whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter is an incredible thing to say. Silent Partner, oh my god, thank you so much for the $50 dono. Rock on. Absolutely, rock on. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. 60. Number go up, brr. Amazing. Y'all are so great. So the position that Cenk is pretending to have is that good and bad doesn't matter, right and wrong doesn't matter. The wise man bowed his head solemnly and spoke, "There's actually zero difference between good and bad things, you imbecile, you fucking moron." Exactly, Tiger Bug. Exactly. Human tissue only knows if you're M or F via the sex hormones. Right, yeah, it's about your gene expression, but that's like way over the head of someone like Cenk, who bench presses 275 and whose job is to apparently not vet the truth for his media job.
Literally true, or like standing up for what is just morally correct. I mean, quite literally, if you don't have enough evidence, why do you think the default should be discrimination?
Yeah.
Explain this.
Yeah, like if there's no evidence, why is the default position discrimination off of your feels? Feels over reals for reals.
Why is the default discrimination? And heaven forbid we stand up for people and say, no, trans people should just be allowed to play in sports. That's good, actually. That's fine. There's no evidence to suggest that we should discriminate against trans people because of some sort of biological advantage, because of course, that's like a silly, nonsensical idea. And also, wild concept, women with PCOS have a ton of advantages in sports. Are we going to discriminate against them too? Right?
Yes.
Once again, this is a failure to understand that trans people are just a type of person, right? This is thinking that transness is something extra, which is another vibe that I got with Cenk over the phone, was just this feeling that it seemed like he thought that transitioning and being trans was like this extra special thing that people did for fun or to make a political statement, and not just literally part of like who trans people are. Once again, this is just a failure to understand transness as just a type of person that exists. Mm-hmm. And the idea of,
this is why I think that we should stick with the rhetoric that like cisgender people experience gender dysphoria also, and that they experience gender euphoria also. I think we need to do everything we can to try to humanize our experience and try to relate it to what to what cisgender people experience, because otherwise this is what happens. We end up with this thing where they think, oh, you know, I can't imagine what it would be like to transition my gender. That seems like a crazy thing to do. I would never do that. And they don't recognize that their feeling that they're having, like when Cenk imagines that like what it would be like for him to transition into a woman, he's freaked out and disgusted by that. Like, maybe not disgusted, but he's freaked out by that concept, and he's like, oh, I would never do that. And like, he doesn't understand that feeling that he's having in that moment is gender dysphoria. Like, for him, the idea of becoming a woman is anxiety inducing, and so he cannot imagine why someone else who is assigned male would transition. This whole thing smacks of gender. I holler as I overturn my uncle's barbecue grill and turn the 4th of July into 4th of shit. 4th of shit. Yes. Let's all be patriotic today. Hello, excuse me? Can I get some comment, sir, on the fireworks display? Do you know, can you please tell us what you think about the new location of the fireworks display? I know it's right outside your home, so you have to have some opinion, sir. Sir? Excuse me. Anyway. Anyway.
Oh, you're just losing the average person. You losing. I could win over Republicans on like the housing and all these other things. It's just absurd on its face. Because really, Cenk, are people just gonna vote for a Republican because they're very angry that there's a trans person playing sports ball? Come on, like be real. Be real, especially because, and this is another thing that I pointed out to Cenk. If you look,
is that really the like wedge issue? Does Cenk really think that trans people in sports is going to be the wedge issue that pushes people away from the Democrats? Like, does he really think that the average voter gives that much of a fuck about this?
The states where Republicans made their entire campaign just attacking trans people in sports, you know what happened when Democrats actually stood in defense of trans people? Oh yeah, that's right. The Republicans lost miserably. Nobody is thinking about this. People are not like struggling to fall asleep at night. Oh my god, oh I can't even believe trans people are playing sports. What am I gonna do? Nobody's doing that. There's a tiny group of people who are obsessed with trans people that are like going on a tirade, but that's not the majority. If you look at Michigan, in Michigan, the Republicans made their entire campaign just like, we hate trans people. And what happened now? Oh, the Democrats have a trifecta in Michigan now. And every state where Republicans have tried to focus on just attacking trans people, it has literally undermined their own support. So what is happening right here seems to be very clearly Cenk hiding behind hypothetical people's opinions in order to mask his own opinion.
True.
He doesn't think that trans people should be allowed to play professionally.
Dude, yeah, using other people's, like using the hypothetical, non-existent other person, like as a means of expressing your actual opinion. Oh my God, it's literally like asking for a friend. Oh my God, that's such a good point, Ben. Oh my God, she made such a good point there. Trans people need their own media outlets. Hey, that's why you gotta support independent media like this. Donate to me, donate to Demon Mama, donate to Conyer, donate to all these trans people who are out here doing independent media. Because you donating and sharing and liking on the content means that it's gonna spread further, and that is gonna enable us to have more of a voice. So, and like, honestly, I don't know, like, I've wondered, I've asked myself this question before, like, what is the goal for me career-wise? Like, is there a place that I'm gonna go after this? Like, you know, I started doing this as my main job after I realized that I could not functionally be an electrician with my disabilities and everything. So, like, what is the next step? I guess if someone reached out, I would, I suppose, be willing to be hired on at a news organization, maybe. Like, if someone wanted to hire me at a media outlet, I think that is sort of like the natural progression of this job. But I don't know. It's like, yeah, what is the 5-year plan? I don't know. Surviving immediately is the 5-year plan. I don't have time to think about 5 years from now is the 5-year plan. So, yeah, the average voter does, just as the average voter cared about abortion. But the question is, yeah, I mean, but like but abortion is like a way more emotionally charged issue than the sports thing. Like, do we really think people are going to switch party affiliation over trans people in sports? If you do merch, that would be a good t-shirt. Wait, what would be a good t-shirt? My 5-year plan is surviving. I mean, honestly, my 5-year plan is about surviving till next year. I feel like that's like a pretty accurate thing. My eyes hurt. Oh no, your eyes hurt. That's not good, Dizzy. I'm very tired today. My eyes don't hurt, but I could imagine a world where they would. I want sleep. Go to sleep. Perhaps your next YouTubing is to do a podcast with a gender specialist or other proponents of trans people. Yeah, but those are like one-off things. I meant like, what's the next stage in my career? Not like what will I do with my YouTube channel in the next 5 years? It's like, am I even gonna stay being a YouTuber for the next 5 years? Or like, is there gonna be another step after this for me? I don't know. It's convenient that I can do my job from anywhere right now, so probably stick with it for a while at least, another few years. I certainly have no plans to transition away from it. It would be nice to have one consistent job for like 5 years, but I mean, we'll see. If the channel keeps growing, that would be great, and if the channel peters out, then it will peter out. What if you and other trans/leftist content creators got together and formed a looser network of news reporting, focusing on cross-pollination, making sure all the top-line news items get covered, etc.? Yeah, like, I guess we could start an independent news network. It's just that I think that a lot of leftists are hesitant to do that kind of thing because they, I mean, you know, everybody's got accusations or whatever, you know, like, who all is going to be on the network? How are we going to prevent factionalism from occurring? Feels similar to what The Line is doing. Yeah, sort of. I would just like one consistent job. Yeah, I gotta say it's been nice to have like one consistent job that I know that I'm gonna have. Like, I'm not gonna suddenly get fired, presumably. I guess I could suddenly get banned off of YouTube. And then I guess in which case you should be on the Discord server so that you can see if I start posting on Twitch or something. Because right now I don't post on Twitch very much. But anyway. An all-trans leftist news network would be great. It would be awesome. And like, not some of the other people who you think of as trans leftists don't even want to cover news, as you know, like Demon Mama doesn't want to cover news as much. Being real with you, y'all can't pull that off without someone to coordinate it. That's a fuckload of work wrangling that many people. Yeah, I mean, we would have to have, like, it would have to be like a network with managers and like shows on a schedule or something like that. You know, it would be pretty intense. True, Blake as well points out that according to polls, most Americans support abortion, whereas the anti-trans people are small but vocal. And I know most people who get to vote skew older and less progressive, so that's an issue as well. True. Okay, let's go back to this. My throat hurts.
Professional sports. And instead of just saying that, which I guess on some level he does, he hides behind, oh, you know, the American people aren't ready for trans people to play sports, you know? But it gets even worse because he basically follows this up by blaming trans athletes and anybody who dares to just support trans people existing for all of the transphobic legislation that is passing across the country and for Republicans winning.
That is incredibly selfish of activists who are betraying their own community. Because when you say I don't care about elections, who cares about the Democrats? That isn't the point. The Republicans introduced over 600 bills against the LGBTQ community.
Not just against, it was specifically against the trans community, Jank. Stop trying to like steal the valor away from trans people and put it on gay people in general. Those laws are about trans people. And like you are on the side of people who are trying to restrict our rights right now. Like does he understand that that's what he's like? He is part of the he is part of the machine that is fueling all of these laws against us. Who is this? Lip mole is a cute feature. Love me, my facial. This is Jank from the Young Turks. Oh no, the other? It's Ben. Ben is the name of the person whose video we're watching. She used to work for TYT. So she is covering, she's like, why I left the Young Turks, because they're very transphobic, is the answer.
That's because of elections, and over 70 of them have already passed. When you say I don't care about winning and I don't care about elections, what you're saying is I'm super selfish leftist activist and I'd like to build my cloud. But meanwhile, I'm willing to throw trans people and the entire LGBTQ community under the bus, knowing that these bills are gonna pass because we're laser focused on a losing issue.
And he's like, oh.
You're laser focused on it, Jank. Trans people aren't laser focused on the sports issue. You people keep fucking bringing it up. So we have to defend ourselves because it's not like, because we're not willing to go like, oh, you know what? Actually, you're right. We don't deserve the right to participate in sports. You know, I'm so sorry. I was incorrect. You are actually correct. I was wrong about me thinking that I have the right. Like our rights are under attack and we're defending them. And he's acting like this is the issue that we're leading with. Like, he's such an idiot. Jank is a losing issue. Fucking amen.
If Republicans win because the trans people want to play sports, it'll be all your fault. And like, how disgusting is that actually? You are genuinely gonna blame people whose existence is like actively being criminalized by Republicans for their own oppression? Give me a break. This is actually your fault more than it is any trans person's fault. Jank, personally you, it is more his fault. Because what Jank is doing is Jank is going to an audience of people who are presumably on the left and telling them, no, it's okay to be transphobic. It's okay to compromise with the rights of trans people. It's okay to say that we should just discriminate against trans people in some ways if it makes these Republicans happy.
True.
And like, that is unbelievably disgusting. It's such a shameless thing to do. Like, how on God's green earth do you think that you get to call yourself some sort of like principled left?
Yeah, so fucking hell, they're trying to keep us from being able to piss. Can we not talk about sports, which are stupid and fake and do not actually matter? Right, like Anna is out there talking about, I don't like the language of birthing person. Why don't you just call me what I want to be called? And then like, Jank is focusing on the sports issue. Meanwhile, like, first of all, again, the birthing person issue, like people die because they don't have access to gynecological care because trans men like get denied gynecological care. People die from it, and like not having access to hospitals with like caring nurses and stuff, like our issues get ignored during pregnancy and stuff. Like, and then like also the pissing and the having the right to healthcare thing. Fighting for human rights to build clout. Exactly. Building clout. Jesus Christ. Robert Eads. Yeah, Robert Eads. Forever. Say his name.
Leftist who's out to do the right thing. How can you call yourself the home of progressives when you are actively cutting deals with fascists about the rights of trans people and then spreading transphobic nonsense to an audience of like millions of people?
True.
It is deeply irresponsible, and fundamentally, it's pathetic. This is genuinely embarrassing. The degree to which this is irresponsible just knows no bounds, because there are so many people that are literally looking to people like Cenk for opinions, and he's literally just giving them an open invitation to be as transphobic as they want to
True.
be, because it's politically strategic.
Yep.
They'll say that, but okay, you don't care about the politics? Let's just, for once in your life, think strategically about what that means. That means that you're gonna continue pushing the Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything that the trans activists want, even if it's unpopular among the electorate.
And
that
what
means
you're doing is pushing the Democratic Party to support the things that Republicans support. You're pushing the Democratic Party to support discrimination against trans people in the places where you think it's good to do that, where you think it's politically expedient to throw trans people under the bus. She talks like a fucking turf now, yeah. Gotta love Anna talking down to trans people like we're children. Yeah, like like Cenk saw a couple trans people on Twitter talking about how voting sucks and it doesn't change anything, and he's decided to just say like all trans people are against voting and don't care about political expediency. Like, oh, because our rights are so inconvenient to the political expediency of voting and like winning elections, as though all these people who've run on super anti-trans platforms haven't lost spectacularly.
they're not getting reelected. That means they're gonna lose to Republicans. Republican lawmakers who are passing draconian, disgusting legislation in various states right now as we speak against the transgender community.
Look at this. You're gonna push your Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything the trans activists want. Like, shut up. Literally, shut the fuck up. This is so embarrassing. Like, Anna Kasparian, and like, look, I'm gonna be real. This is my personal opinion, but whatever. I think Anna Kasparian is genuinely personally transphobic. I'm just gonna say it right now. She's like saying and doing all of the things. She's referring to every trans person as a trans rights activist. Referencing every trans person as a trans rights activist is just, on its face, literally transphobic. And it's one of the things that transphobes have been pushing for a long time, is just calling every trans person a trans rights activist. I mean, and the media more broadly does this as well. And this whole idea of like, you're gonna lose to Republicans, you're gonna lose to Republicans if you cater to these trans people, once again, is entirely debunked. Most people are fine with trans people, and when Republicans make their entire platform about attacking trans people, it actually does undermine their political success. We just live in a country that is very much not a democracy, that has all this gerrymandering and all these other things, and so Republicans still have like seats in a lot of places. I know, wild concept. But genuinely, if you look at their poll numbers in response to them focusing on just trans...
I want to be clear that sports isn't a non-issue, and like eliminating trans people from being able to do sports is part of erasing us from public life. Like, sports is not a non-issue when... Like, sports provides opportunities for people to go to college, so it's not a non-issue that trans people can't participate. Sports is a career. It's not a big deal that trans people can't participate. It's, in the UN, considered a human right to be able to participate as an equal in sports. And so, yeah, it's not a non-issue. It just isn't like the thing. It isn't like the most important thing. And it's like negative to focus in on it, you know? It's literally an equal rights issue, and it's actually a pretty important part of life for a lot of people. It doesn't affect a large demographic of people, but it still matters. Yeah, I mean, like, it sucks not being able to participate in community building, peer, like, stuff like that, you know, like as a kid, especially not being able to participate in sports, it is like you are the odd one out in social situations. Like, it is socially advantageous. You know, making friends that can give you lifelong connections. The hand-eye coordination is also not terrible, and like it's healthy for you to get outside and be in sports. Like, there are so many things about it that are quite healthy, and it sucks that trans people are being barred from something that is as basic as being able to play with others. Like, keep that in mind, y'all. Sports, we call it playing sports because it's supposed to be play. It's supposed to be a social activity. So, like, oh yeah, I was responding to someone in the YouTube chat, Dizzy, to be clear. I was not responding to you about sports. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's not, yeah, legally enforced shunning. Shunning is one of the oldest social punishments. Okay, yeah, like, that's what I'm saying, Jay. Yeah, like, it's not no big deal to be barred from, you know, opportunities. You know, like, being barred from going to college. It will prevent you from establishing some connections that you might need for your lifelong success. Those same people complaining about sports are also A-okay with sports growing to include esports and also complain about trans people in esports. Yeah, it's dumb. But you're right, yes, it's a fucked up system overall. Sports, like sexual assault and like college sports in particular is quite, yeah. I'm not really specifically trying to defend college sports or professional sports. Trans women have an advantage in esports because the majority of them are fucking nerds. Nerds.
Trans people existing, it's not working. It is genuinely not working for them. It is undermining the electoral success. But of course, you can't not take the opportunity to blame trans people for their own oppression, am I right? It's really great that Anna Kasparian is doing this.
And by the way, you schmucks, you're falling exactly into the right-wing trap.
Schmucks.
The Republicans, they tried everything. They tried anti-gay stuff, it didn't work. They tried trans bathrooms, you remember that? Mm-hmm. That didn't work.
What do you mean that didn't work?
Taking the transgender community out of the military, that didn't work. They drilled in until they finally found a little tiny nugget.
What do you mean that didn't work? They're still passing bathroom bills. What the fuck do you mean that didn't work? What?
Hey, trans folks in like competitive sports seems a little bit much. And you don't engage them in that fight. They lose on everything else. But idiot activists, yes, I just called you an idiot. Activists go in there and go, no, I'm gonna fall right into that trap and I'm gonna fight on the only losing ground we have so we can elect more Republicans so they can pass more anti-LGBT laws. Great, well played. I'm sure your clout and your brand is doing great.
These clips.
I'm sure your brand is doing great, Jank. How much money are you making? Lux, I'm raging on your behalf. Fuck's sake. Yeah, that was so stupid. I'm like, I don't even know how to respond. How stupid that is. Like, what do you mean the bathroom thing didn't work? How could he possibly lay all that out and get to this one's different though? Yeah, what, Jank? What were those 600 laws about? Excuse me, Jank. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Jank. Excuse me, sir. I would like to ask, what were those 600 anti-LGBTQ laws about? I'm so sorry. Were all 600 of them about sports, or were a huge number of them about bathrooms? You fucking idiot. What an idiot. What a moron. And he's like, oh, and 70 of them have passed. Are you referring to like several of those being bathroom bills? I live in Kansas. I am now no longer allowed to use public restrooms. I cannot use public restrooms safely. Yeah, like how many times have we had this conversation about sports because cis people brought it up? I'm not out here talking about sports except, and like, cause trans people have been able to use, like, have been able to do sports for years and it's not an issue, and it's only an issue when people pretend that it's an issue. Yeah, trans people are idiots when it comes to advocating for their own rights. Allow me, a cis man, to explain how things work. Jank owes me reparations for the fact that my poor ears had to listen to that insulting drivel sputter forth from his flabby, flopping face. Just floppy. It's super floppy. Beautiful.
They're just so infuriating, genuinely. Like, that talk about betrayal is just so, like, pathetic and embarrassing and shameless. Coming from Jank and Anna right here. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're betraying the trans community by fighting for trans rights. How dare you just say that trans people should be treated equally in society? Don't you know that you're supposed to live as second-class citizens so that I can feel better about myself when I give you rights? Mm-hmm. Literally, spare me. This is ridiculous. But I think the real icing on the cake here is this tweet where Anna Kasparian has decided to unilaterally declare Jesse Singal to not be a transphobe, despite, and this is what's really wild, Jesse Singal literally talking to whistleblowers at a medical facility that appear to have made some significant HIPAA violations about their patients.
Oh, interesting.
In sharing the information that they did with Jesse Singal. And, of course, you have him running around spewing all of the same transphobic nonsense that basically your average transphobe is gonna be spreading. You know, the types of things about like, oh, we don't know about hormones, and oh, HRT for kids, and oh my god, it's so terrifying, oh my goodness, they're...
Speaking of anti-trans bills, if you weren't going to talk about that tonight, could you summarize it? Do you mean the one in Kansas? Like the anti-trans bill in Kansas that just passed? Or just, it didn't just pass, it passed in April. It went into effect on July 1st. All the single ladies. Oh my god. Meanwhile, the bitch sitting beside Jenk is arguing that trans kids do not deserve puberty blockers, and quite frankly, I wish them karmic suffering for that advocacy. I hope Anna suffers one iota of the way her stance makes trans kids suffer. Yeah, I don't think I would be upset what your stream's title was for tonight. Oh, well, I changed the title like an hour ago. But Supreme Court, I mean, like, there's literally the reason why I didn't cover it tonight is because I have to cover like 4 different Supreme Court cases that all just went through within the last week. So like there was one about affirmative action and one about whether trans people yeah, don't TOS my chat. Good night, Dizzy. I mean, there were just like 4 different things. Like I don't like a lot of shit happened, and I'm gonna have to go over like a lot of stuff in depth in order to do the coverage of it. So, yeah, good night, Dizzy. My love, Tomasi. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure my chats are all in place here.
For turning all of our kids transgender. Oh my god.
Single is a good faith, I think, critical thinker. I'm subscribed to Blocked and Reported. I have listened to endless podcast episodes from Blocked and Reported. I haven't seen anything from Jesse Singal that communicates to me that he is a transphobe, that he is a bad person. He did straight news reporting.
I, a cis person, have evaluated this other cis person. I have investigated and found no wrongdoing.
On basically what, you know, some of the risks could be when it comes to transitioning literal kids with puberty blockers and then cross-sex hormones. And through his reporting, which I'm very sad to say I didn't really come across until this year, I learned that I was wrong about a bunch of other things.
Like, Jesse Singal literally is one of the, like, more notable transphobic people that is out there putting out misinformation about trans people and actively stoking the flames of this big wave of anti-trans legislation. And it's just deeply shameless to come in and say, no, I definitely think, as a cisgender woman, think that Jesse Singal is not transphobic at all. So, yeah, it's good. It's fine. Trust me. And then, of course, she starts talking about, like, oh, puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for children. I think the important thing to understand here, and this is a line that I've, like, continuously told people and, like, said on TYT myself, that, like, really what it boils down to is hormone replacement therapy is literally just puberty. Like, at the end of the day, it's just puberty. And yeah, whether it's puberty with estrogen or testosterone, it's gonna carry some risks just like it does with cisgender children. That's just part of puberty. And it's actually not all that different if it's a trans puberty or a cis puberty, believe it or not. And so anybody fear-mongering about the effects are permanent, yeah, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? You know? Isn't that like the whole point? But if the effects were really entirely permanent, then transitioning as an adult wouldn't really work, would it? And yet, of course, it does. And you know, it's funny because their biggest fear for what happens to children who are on hormone therapy is that a cisgender child might accidentally get gender dysphoria. You know, the thing that trans children just deal with if they're not allowed to get hormones. And so literally, this is just a nonsense argument of throwing all trans people under a bus out of the hypothetical fear that a cisgender person might take hormones and just realize that it's not for them. Which at that point, by the way, they could just stop taking hormones. And so really, when you take all this together, it seems like Anna Kasparian is fully engulfed into like the conspiracy theories against trans people. And I genuinely think that she believes a lot more than what she's saying. Because I've just seen hints of like just some like extremely rabid transphobic nonsense. And with Cenk seems to be following Anna Kasparian along and kind of seems to be of the vibe of like, oh, no, I'm this big smart news guy and I've been doing this for a long time. I couldn't possibly be wrong, and very much relying on his lack of any type of understanding of biology and just making ridiculous assumptions about the difference between men and women and thinking that that's some sort of like universally applicable thing, not thinking about how hormones play a role in that, and of course is bouncing off of Anna's deeply transphobic energy. And of course, he can't help himself but frame himself as like the brilliant galaxy brain reasonable person. And of course, all these trans people are just ridiculous and out there and just radical and couldn't possibly be, you know, referencing like very basic science that is easy to go through. And any attempts to educate either Anna Kasparian or Cenk has kind of just been met with a lot of stubbornness, of digging in their heels, rejecting the new information.
Just totally stonewalling.
And replacing it with their own imaginations about how they think things should be. And it just continues to escalate over the past several months. And that fundamentally is why I just can't be a part of TYT anymore. It's just too much. It's ridiculous. Because at a certain point it becomes embarrassing for me. Because how can I, as a trans person who actually knows the science behind this, who actually is like actively trying to support trans people, as somebody that people look up to me, right? People literally like send me messages and be like, I'm so inspired, you know, you being a TYT, like it made me want to come out, or like my kids watch your show and you know, it just like, it gives them so much hope and they're so excited to see a trans person in the news. And I have to deal with messages from them now asking about, hey, what's going on with TIT? Hey, what the hell is happening here? Like, why is Anna saying this? Why is Cenk saying this? And that is just like the amount of like psychic damage that I have to take every single day dealing with not only the transphobic nonsense of the Republicans, but also whatever Cenk and Anna are on right now. It's just too much. And I just, because at a certain point it becomes embarrassing because then people think that I'm like endorsing their views, and I cannot. I will not. I refuse to lend any support to those views whatsoever, because fundamentally they're dangerous and they're ridiculous and like they're straight up evil. It is just this shameless, selfish ignorance that is fueling this, and just this self-importance coming from both Cenk and Anna, this idea that they don't actually have to listen. So no, yeah, I'm done with TYT because I can't let anybody think that I have any type of support for their opinions here, because
yeah. So go over to her channel. I put the link in the chat. Go over to her channel, click like on the video, subscribe if you want to, and leave her a comment. Leave her a comment. Say hello from the Horde. She only has 1.8 thousand subscribers, so she is a tiny, tiny channel. I don't know if this is a thing that she wants to do YouTube, but now that she's not working with TOIT anymore, you know, give her a like, maybe subscribe, give her the option of having something that she could do on Twitter, or sorry, on YouTube, like being professional over here. Like over here, you see this? Click like, and I click subscribe, and you should do the same thing. Leave a nice comment, tell her that we enjoyed watching her video, thank her for it, etc. So that was a video. We reacted to it. We watched it. It was a thing. We've done it. We did it. We did a react. It's like after 7 o'clock and my AC is still kicking on. How pouty do you think Cenk's face will be when he airs his response? You know, I expected better from Ben. I expected Ben to keep all the details of our conversation private or whatever. Dumb. When they use the biology excuse, it's like they've borrowed their kid's junior school biology textbook the night before to revise for an interview with a neurosurgeon the next day. You all could actually watch her video even on mute to give view time. That's true. You could watch her video again so that you could get a non-adulterated I really hope Ben has a recording of that convo. I doubt she does, but if she does, you know. I wonder if Hassan will try and talk to him being his nephew. I don't know. Like, would Hassan try to talk to him and be like, hey, can you reel back on the transphobia thing? What does Hassan think about, like, the sports issue? Is Hassan not on our side about that? Like, I don't know. Anyway, y'all, it's been a very warm day today, and I am a very tired Luxander, and we have streamed for 2 hours, and now I am going to go do other things, probably make myself some dinner, try to finish soundproofing that I was going to change to try to make my air conditioner less loud. So I will see you all on Thursday, unless anything crazy happens. Hassan is pro-trans women in sports. Very. Okay, well, maybe he'll talk to them. Oh, we could hope, but doubt Jank would listen. Yeah, that's the thing, is like Jank's not gonna listen. So they're determined. They're gonna dig in like a tick. They're just gonna dig in even further, but whatever. All right, y'all be good. We'll see you Thursday.